Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for the kind invitation. I'm thrilled to have the privilege to share with you from a Dallas County perspective and Cedar Valley perspective the impact that COVID has had and that we're projecting will have on our community. Mr. Camp, I want to thank you for your tremendous leadership as our illustrious chair, moving us forward through these difficult times, and Keandra, our amazing leader. I am grateful for your leadership during these challenging times. And Philando, man, you're my guy. I appreciate you keeping me in line to even allow me to even be here this morning. So thank you. I'm going to jump right into it, and I will try to move swiftly in respect for people's time. But if you need me to slow down or stop to reiterate or expand a point, I'll be happy to do so. What I'm hoping to do in our short time this morning is to do four things. First, I want to contextualize the impact of COVID-19. I also want to share DCCC's intentions and challenges as far as educating our citizens moving forward. And then I want to talk about Dallas College and what that means and will mean for all of us moving forward. And then hopefully I'll be able to entertain your questions that you may have. So with that, I'll just jump right into it. So I don't think many of us, because we're sheltered in place, truly understand the impact that COVID has had on our economy. The chart that you see here kind of highlights the history of unemployment insurance claims from January 2000. And you can see different points in time where we've had spikes from September 11th to the Great Recession. I think we had all 50,000 claims across the state. And then up until COVID, the biggest number of filings were in after Hurricane Harvey in 2017. So you see 60,000 was the peak over our 20-year history. And then, but you can see in March, actually in April, we spiked at 315,000 uninsured insurance claims. That's almost 5 times our highest rate up until this point. And you see it's come down. We're still at 141,000 claims last week. But again, this is unprecedented. And so we have to talk about, as a chamber and as a community, how do we support people make this transition? What's also a projected aftermath, what we're projecting is, it's because again, the federal funds, the CARES Act has kind of insulated the true impact, but this money is going to run out. And what you see here are the 3 federal programs, the PEUC, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and then the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, which is that extra $600. Well, all of these programs expire this year. In fact, the first to expire will be in July, the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation Fund. And so starting in August, September, we're going to really start to see the real true impact and how people will be hurting in unprecedented numbers and unprecedented ways. And then in December 26th, just the day after Christmas, the other programs will be expiring. So we have to get ready for the aftermath. And so in anticipation of that, through our Work Ready U arm of Dallas County Community College District, they have developed a app that you can get from Google Play or the Apple App Store. And what's unique about this app than any other app, it connects you not only with jobs, but it aligns the appropriate training and certificate for the jobs that you're seeking. And so potential job candidates can match their potential earning potential with the training that's available to move them forward. Another thing that's transformative is also through Work Ready U. If you were to visit our website, this is a sample of the page, and we have pulled together all of the area and the regional job opportunity search engines. And so whether it's Work in Texas or Say Yes to Dallas, all of those links are in one place. And in addition to that, our labor market intelligence team has created this job finder map, and you can search by zip code or by or employer opportunities that are in your vicinity, so you can hone in job opportunities that match your situation, whether it's transportation, housing, etc. And so this is our initial response at getting ready for this huge aftermath of unprecedented folks who are needing to reinvent themselves. And then as far as student aid, a lot has been played in the media about the CARES Act. And I put this link up for you all to go visit yourself, because there's a whole list of FAQs. But the two big confusions that exist are this one. The question is, can institutions provide refunds for students for room and board, tuition, and other fees, and because of their emergency situation? And the answer is no. And so as folks are critical of institutions of higher learning not doing enough for students, well, these funds, although a significant amount, cannot go to the things that would naturally help students, giving them refunds and allow them to walk away from their tuition obligations. The other misconception is, can institutions provide information technology, laptops, hotspots, and other related equipment and reimburse themselves? And the answer is no. Students are on their own to figure out technology solutions. Now, we can provide them emergency funds and they can use the money for this sake, but we can't provide them the out of the box ready technology that they can just turn and go. To be online learners is prohibited in this process. And so at our district, any student that has any emergency need needs to go through our foundation and download this app called Equity, which allows us to give us immediate, or actually within 24, 48 hours, get a response of what their emergency need will be. And we have been responding to housing, food insecurity, and transportation challenges. I think awards are up to $8,000 depending on their needs. And so our foundation has so generously pulled together the money that they've raised from this generous community to supplement the CARES Act. And so, but students are really struggling, trying to navigate a new learning environment for many of them while meeting unemployment challenges. I think we all know someone in our families or in our circle who have been a victim of unemployment because of COVID. And so, and moving forward, as a district, we've made the decision to mostly go online for fall 2020 for the reasons that you see. Safety is our number one priority. And, we have at any given point in time, 40,000 students daily on our campus and professionals, and at an enrollment that's almost 90,000 students. It's almost impossible to screen and guarantee a safe environment. And because of the CDC social distancing criteria, our class dimensions, how students change classes, go from one to another, all of that has created limitations on how we utilize our facilities. There will be no large student gatherings. And here's a challenge that we're having, particularly with our dual credit early college students. Many of them in school districts have gone to Chromebooks to serve their technology needs. Well, Chromebooks have limitations and are not powerful enough to navigate the software that we need to be students to leverage to be online learners. We also see a huge opportunity to really market online programs and degrees to capture visiting students. And we anticipate a surge in the fall. We have seen a surge this summer. We are probably about almost 10% above what we had anticipated for summer enrollment, and we're anticipating similar for the fall. Our career and technical labs, which require hands-on instruction, again, because of social distancing, will impact the number of folks we can serve. And that's why we're mostly online. And like all of you, we all have concerns about social distancing. Can we keep folks safe? And there is this understandable fear of all of us. Can we be protected, reasonably protected in our workplaces? And so, again, I think it's difficult to guarantee that. And again, that's why we're mostly online. And then our biggest challenge, like most institutions, is how do we navigate our open campus climate, our commitment to have our doors open to anyone. And although there are amazing people who deeply care about each other in this community, there are also folks who would just want to test our institutions and test our fortitude just because they can. And how do we address those individuals who will be non-compliant, as you can imagine? And then, and while doing all of this, how do we maintain and increase student success in a mostly online environment? And those are our challenges. Now, and we didn't make this decision in a vacuum. You know, we consulted our regional ISDs. I know I personally have engaged Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville, and Cedar Hill. And of course, our district is deeply engaged with Dallas ISD because of the number of early college programs. And as you can see, we all have the top 5 same concerns: safety, class dimensions, how do you change classes, large student gatherings, employee concerns, teacher concerns about social distancing. But in addition to that, you know, our ISD have to deal with transportation. How do they handle food service? You know, many of ISDs have workforce living outside of Dallas County, which may be in counties with different mandates. Then their biggest concern, from my perspective, is how do they balance the impact on pre-K to middle school, which is totally different than the needs you have in high school and with dual credit and PTEX. And so they have a wide range of youngsters that they need to accommodate. And then students accessing technology and Wi-Fi. This COVID has really exacerbated and put a magnifying glass on the social inequities and the digital divide. I don't think things have gotten much better because clearly folks in our region don't have the same access in other places of the county. And then our ISDs are deeply concerned about tax collections. How do they collect average daily attendance and while navigating their federal, state, and their own policies? And so as a community, I think our biggest issue will be this fall is gaps in childcare across the board. Folks who are able to go back to work, but if we have an environment that if the colleges and the ISDs are in mostly online environments, how do we assure that students are safe while parents and families are working? And so those are the things that we have been navigating in the decisions that we've made thus far. And then as I come close to wrapping up, I do want to end on a very positive note. It's no secret that the Dallas County Community College District have made a commitment to move our 7 amazing independently accredited colleges into one institution. And I'm proud to share with you and moving forward, we have made a commitment to preserve our old logo and refresh that into the new Dallas College logo. And so moving forward, starting in July or August or so, give or take, we will be known as Dallas College. And here are the different versions of our branding that you will hopefully grow to love as I do moving forward. And then all of the colleges will be represented. We will still maintain an identity, but Dallas College will be the primary lead, and each campus will be known as a campus or location. And that's the branding for our campuses. And then some pretty cool things. These are some sample business cards. I can't wait to hand these out to you all, and what some of our marketing items will look like. Lapel pin, and even our diplomas will indicate Dallas College with the location underneath. And so, again, these are exciting times in these very challenging times for us. And I'll pause to see if there are any questions that I can hopefully address appropriately.
All right, thank you, Dr. Seabrooks. As you know, we're becoming used to our Zoom norms. If you have questions, let's drop them in the comments. But also, we can, I believe, open the line. I'm not seeing any in the chat. Dr. Seabrooks, as we kind of wait, I just wanted to ask you a question. As we talk about the challenges that K-12 and the community college district is facing in terms of early college, high school, and P-TECH combinations, and this online environment. Could you talk a little bit about the discussion about just at a high level strategies? How do we preserve as much student achievement? Because there are already challenges in an online learning environment, but when you kind of wrap all of this together, can you just talk a little bit about the student support service component that, in terms of the academic support?
So there's a multitude of strategies that we have embarked upon. Number one, it's not just with the students. Actually, we're starting with our faculty because the biggest misconception is that instructors just take their on-ground content and just put into a virtual environment. And that's not online instruction. Those are not the best ways of engaging students. And so now we've engaged in some very robust professional development for our faculty to create engaging, amazing online content. Now, we have a slew of faculty who have already been doing this and doing this well, but there is a learning curve for many of our faculty who aren't proficient in this environment. So starting with professional development with faculty to ensure that they can engage students appropriately in this environment is key. The second is we are developing, actually have always had online orientations for students who want to be online learners to understand the norms, the expectations, the differences between being in a physical classroom setting. And so orientating students to be able to better engage that environment is a priority. And then the great thing about being online is that you can track students' engagement in ways you can never track in a live situation. You can track the number of times they've logged in, the number of attempts on an assignment, how much time they've spent reading a particular assignment. And so there's ways that faculty can get cues to identify students who may need a little bit more help in ways that you just can't, other than trying to catch someone falling asleep. You can't really tell who's really engaged face to face. And so, but helping our faculty really catch those signs and those best practices is really part of the professional development experience. The good news is that I mean, getting tutoring appointments scheduled is easier. You don't have to physically be at a location. So there's some benefits being in this environment, but it will take a moment for folks to get adjusted.
Dr. Seabrooks, you have a question from one of our members on Darnetta over at Tyler Street. She says, "Hi, Dr. Seabrooks. In speaking with other K-12 districts, what has been the feedback with their e-learning programs this past spring, and what are some of the outcomes that are being monitored?"
Well, I think that's a tough question because, we have a wide range of K-12 partners.
Sure.
I think we all have students who are absolutely stellar, knocking it out of the park, and any more of them. But we also have students who are struggling, just gaining access to the appropriate technology, even the Wi-Fi, and many districts have made huge investments who could afford it, but then there's some districts who just are struggling to provide access. The feedback has been mixed. Everything I've shared with you about our institution, they having some of the same issues. In fact, I think our K-12 instructors are even less accustomed to the virtual environment than we are. And so the learning curve for them has been greater. But I do know, like every school district, they are committed teachers who are bending over backwards to learn that and make that transition. But I also know that there are folks who may
I was like, I couldn't sleep for whatever apparent reason.
Hey, if somebody could go on mute.
Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yes. Thank you. Any other questions? Well, Dr. Seabrooks, thank you so much for your time. I don't have any, and she said, yes, it did answer a question.
Okay.
Thank you for that. We thank you again, Dr. Seabrooks, for your time coming to share with us in the Education Committee. We recognize here most certainly that the only way to economic vibrancy is through good education. And I know that the Dallas College stands ready to partner, of course, with the Oak Cliff Chamber. And, when we think about the 7 schools throughout the district, with Cedar Valley being on one end of our service area and Mountain View being on the other, when we think about the reach and the reach of the Oak Cliff Chamber. So we thank you for your leadership at Cedar Valley and your colleague, Dr. Joseph at Mountain View, and all that the district does to support our students. And thank you so much for coming this morning and sharing with us this great information that helps us think more broadly about education.
Well, you're very welcome. Now, I cannot leave this platform without a couple of requests. And so I really appreciate the opportunity. But 2 things I would like the Chamber to consider for us. Today at 3 o'clock, we actually have a preview day, virtual preview day for students who are deciding where to go to college, and we want them to consider us. And so I would love to send you all the link, and if you can send that out to members who may have folks in their lives who are making decisions about higher education. I hope the decision is to continue, and we would love folks to consider us. My second request is, although COVID has stopped a lot of things, under no circumstance will it kill the spirit of Dallas County Community College, soon to be Dallas College. And so on June 13th, we will have virtual commencement ceremonies for all 7 colleges, and we'll love to send you that information. And if you wouldn't mind sharing that with members who may have loved ones who they want to celebrate with as well. So I'd love to get that to you as well.
Absolutely. If you send that to us, we definitely will share that.
Great. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us here. This is, I think, time well spent this morning, because the more information we have, the more we can be of support, the more we can do what we need to do to make Dallas and Oak Cliff the great community it is to both live, learn,
and work. So thank you all again, and it is 8:30, and this adjourns the Education Committee of the Oak Cliff Chamber. Thanks, everyone.